Okay, I've got a Edelbrock carburetor that I'm rebuilding today. I've got it all taken apart, and I bought a kit for $22 off of Amazon to rebuild this carburetor. This is a 1405, same as a 1406, except for this is a manual choke version. So this is what came in the kit. That's the old carburetor gasket. This is the kit right here. I got off of Amazon. You see it's made in China. So this is what all came in there. They give you needle and seat. They give you, looks like an extra needle. Here's all your small parts, small gaskets. They give you that check ball. I think this is the inlet gasket. And these little ones are for the venturis, for your main and your secondary venturis. And you get a new accelerator pump and spring, measuring device. You get 2 top gaskets, which is nice, I like that. A base gasket, a carburetor top gasket. I'm not sure what that's for. So, and you get the floats. Now, this is a problem. These two here are the original floats. So I was just checking them to see if they had any leaks. See, they're soldered. So these are the 2 floats I got with this kit. And you can see there's solder on that one. This one here, they didn't finish soldering it. They soldered a little bit. And then take a look. It's not soldered all the way around, so I was checking it. Just put it under water, squeeze a little bit. Some bubbles coming out of there. So that's not going to be any good. That's what came with this kit. So just a warning. If you buy one of these kits, check your floats. And just with any kit you buy, really, save your old gasket, and then you can take your new gasket and lay it on it and see if it looks the same. That's always a good idea. But save all your old parts, save your old little gaskets and things, just in case there is a problem with something that you just bought, like these. So I'll be reusing the old floats. They actually look a lot better than these floats that came with it. They're a little, see, they're a little kind of dented in here, and the soldering job, not very good. I don't think I trust that. So we're going to go with the originals. And I checked these for leaks. So there you go, guys. A little project. Edelbrock 600 CFM carb. Okay, another thing about the Amazon gasket rebuild kit for the Edelbrock Carb. This is the primary venturi here, and these are the gaskets they give you with it. Here's the old gasket. See right where my finger is, that little point there? It's not cut out the same. And if you notice, the screw holes is right there, and they're cut bigger in the new gasket. So I'll show you how that fits on the venturi. Just like that. See how everything lines up nice. And this tube right here, the way it's cut out for that tube, right there. And then this is the gasket that came in the Amazon kit. And see, it's not cut out for that tube properly. Plus the holes for the screws are a little big, so you can't really get it to line on there right. I would return this gasket set, but Amazon, I bought it over a month ago, and Amazon tells me that the return period is over after 30 days. So I'm kind of stuck with it, having to trim that out, that little area there. Okay, it's the same situation with the secondary Venturi gaskets. Here's the old one. There's the new one. And you can see there's a little extra material right here that's catching. But I was able to use the new one still. It fit in there to the point where it's not that bad of a fit, but it is a little bit off. And another thing, the accelerator pump check ball where the discharge nozzles sit right here. This is the accelerator pump discharge nozzle. Sits here, and inside this hole goes this check ball and that brass spacer. So on the left is what came out of the carburetor, and on the right is what I got in the kit. And you can see the ball is a little bigger. That came in the kit. I'll zoom in on that. See the size difference. So I'm not sure if that'll make a difference in this case, but what I'm going to do is reuse my old parts. Okay, here's another place where this kit, the gaskets aren't quite fitting quite right. The accelerator pump nozzle fits right here. And as you can see, there's a weight and a check ball that goes down that hole. I already put the weight and check ball in there, so you can kind of see how that's the old gasket. Fits on there pretty nice. And this is the one that came in the kit. We're going to put that on there. And that does not fit very well. I don't like the way that fits. See how the holes aren't quite right, and spacing of them. It'll probably work, but I don't really like the way that is. So there's another reason not to buy the Amazon rebuild kit. Okay, as I'm reassembling everything, I notice another problem. So to me, this gasket rebuild kit from Amazon is totally useless. This is the original accelerator pump. Here's the one they provide you with. I thought, well, there's brass, that's metal. That might be better. But if you look close at the diameter of the spring on there, look how much heavier that spring is. And watch this. So this accelerator pump is, when you step on the gas hard, it's going to compress a little bit, and then it's going to kind of push down and release the fuel. Well, see how much movement there is there? And then with the one they provide, the spring is extremely heavy. I mean, I could barely squeeze that, and there's almost half the movement or less in there. So I think that would definitely affect your calibration. The way the accelerator pump works, it's not going to have the same effect. Like the dwell time will be different. So when you slam the throttle open, this pushes and compresses, and then it'll slowly release. It'll give it a shot, and then it'll continue to release like that. This one, because that spring is so heavy, and I can barely compress it at all. You may end up bending your linkage with this one. So that's totally worthless. That's trash right there. We're going to throw that in the garbage. And we're going to reuse our old parts, which I ended up using the old gaskets on the primary side because I tried trimming them a little bit to make that clearance, but it ended up being frayed, and I was afraid I was going to get some of the paper shreds, into the carburetor. Okay, so here's the spring that came with the carburetor and accelerator pump. And this is a spring that came with the Amazon kit, the gold one. And you probably can't tell the difference between the two. But when you squeeze them, this one has a lot more give. This is stiffer, significantly stiffer, quite a bit stiffer. So again, I'm going to throw that in the trash, and I'm going to use my old parts. Okay, ran into another problem with the Amazon rebuild kit for the Edelbrock. The needle and seat, here's the seat, the original seat right here. And you can see how deep that hole is, and it's a bigger diameter. So because you're supposed to put this little screen in there to catch debris, I tried squeezing the edge of the screen down a little bit and shoving it in there, but it just really didn't want to go in there. So you can see on the old one, it goes right in there, and it's drilled a little deeper, so it'll fit right in there. So there's another part that I'm going to throw in the trash from the kit and reuse my old one. Okay, so I was just showing how the needle seats are different. Well, this is the gasket they give you with it for the seat. And you can see this one already has the gasket still on there. Let me show you how this fits on there. So this is what they give you. Look at that. That's not a good fit at all. See how loose it is on there? So that's another thing for the trash pile. One thing I did do was take the rubber off the accelerator pump, because this one's kind of compressed down a little bit. I took the black rubber off of that one, the one they provide you with, and I switched it. So far, that's one of the only pieces I've used of this kit. Okay, I got the carburetor all together, and here's out of the Amazon kit. These are the parts that I used. I used the main top gasket. I used these two secondary Venturi gaskets. The shooter gasket, that's like the accelerator pump nozzle gasket. Those I've used. I'm going to use the base gasket if it fits properly, and the top gasket that goes on the top. I'm not sure what this round one's for. I'm going to save this. They gave you an extra one of the top gaskets. And then these are the parts that I couldn't use because it didn't fit properly. The primary Venturi gaskets, they give you 3 of these, so I used the 2, and that's my spare. This is the gasket, a washer for the inlet right here. That seemed like it was kind of rough on the edges, so I just used the old one. I didn't use the accelerator pump because that spring, it doesn't compress hardly at all. This spring is a little stiffer than what was in there, so I didn't want to change the calibration. So I kept the old one in there. The floats, this one float here seemed like it didn't take any water. This one, when I put it underwater and squeezed it, it filled up with water because they never soldered it together all the way. The hairpin clips are too big. This accelerator pump check ball is bigger than what came in there, so I would think that would change the weight on it. The weight on the as the gas is pushing past it. I'm not sure if that would make a difference or not, but that ball was bigger with the replacement kit, so I didn't use it. The seats, I couldn't get the filter in there, so the screen, so I didn't use the seat. This ring, this goes on, this is the gasket for the seat. You can kind of tell that's a problem right there. The needles, I probably could have used them, but I was thinking that everything else was such poor quality that this rubber tip might just dry up from 10% ethanol gas. I was afraid that might start leaking and flood the carb. So that's everything. Pretty much, I didn't use any of the hard parts because of all the problems. And yeah, the scale on this, the way it's printed, is off by about 1/16 of an inch. So I just use an old ruler to measure the float drop to set the float height. So guys, if you're thinking about saving some money, buying one of these rebuild kits off of Amazon, this is the number. Do not do it. Don't, spend the extra money. I think an official Edelbrock kit is going to be like $45 or something. And this was $22, but obviously I didn't save any money because I only used the gaskets, those gaskets there, and the rest of this was junk. So there you go, guys.